Croatia. There are places you visit, and there are places that get under your skin. You don't notice it happening. You're walking, half listening, taking the same photograph everyone takes. And somewhere between the light on the stone and the sound of somebody's television through an open window, the place stops being a view. It becomes a feeling you can't put down. 3 cities on this coast do that. Not because they're the prettiest. Plenty of coastlines are prettier. Something else. They don't feel finished. They don't feel kept. They feel lived in. Right now, this morning, by people who have no idea they're standing inside something extraordinary. In the next 10 minutes, 3 cities. And you'll understand exactly what they do to you. Split. It's early, and someone is hanging laundry between 2 Roman columns. You come down the steps into a courtyard, and the first thing that reaches you isn't the architecture. It's coffee. Cups on a low table, an ashtray. 2 men arguing quietly about football. Behind them, a wall of stone that has been standing for 17 centuries. Nobody looks up. Walk further in. The corridor's narrow. The limestone underfoot has been polished into a soft shine by feet, and the light comes down in slabs between the buildings. A scooter goes past your shoulder, close enough to feel the warm air of it. Somewhere above you, a window is open, and there's a television on. A woman calls down to someone in the alley. A cat sleeps in a doorway older than most countries. You keep waiting for the museum to start. It never does. Because you're already inside it. These lanes are not near the palace. They are the palace. The walls holding up that apartment building, the arch over that bakery, the column with the bicycle chained to it. All of it is one structure, and people simply moved in and never left. This was built for one man to die alone in. Diocletian was the most powerful man on earth. He ruled Rome, and then he did the thing no emperor did. He stepped down, walked away from the throne, and came home to this coast to grow vegetables. He built himself a fortress by the sea to spend his last years in. It was meant to be a private ending, a palace for one. The empire that built it collapsed. And a few centuries later, when the raiders came, the people of the ruined city up the road ran here, through these gates, and they moved into the emperor's house. They never left. They are still here. Thousands of them, living in the walls of a dead man's retirement, hanging laundry across his colonnade, drinking coffee in his vestibule. Glad you're still here. Subscribe to GoBeyondia. And this is what gets under your skin about Split. Not the grandeur, the shrug. You are standing there, breathless, because you have understood where you are. And a man walks past you, carrying a bag of tomatoes, entirely unbothered, because this is just the way home. Nothing is roped off. Nothing is explained. The monumental has been so completely absorbed into the ordinary, that the ordinary is what stuns you. You came to see something ancient. What you'll remember is a woman watering a plant on a Roman balcony and not once looking down. Next, we leave the city that moved into an emperor's house and go somewhere no emperor ever wanted. Somewhere built by the people who actually lived there, for nobody but themselves. We'll tell you its name when we arrive. Subscribe to GoBeyondia. Šibenik. The lanes go up. That's the first thing. Not along the water, the way you expect. Up into the hill, steep and pale and narrow, steps worn into a curve in the middle where everyone has always walked. It is very quiet. You realize climbing that there is nobody performing here. No one is selling you anything. A woman is sweeping the stone in front of her door. 2 old men sit in a patch of shade that has probably been the good shade for 400 years. Laundry again, but nearer, more private. Somebody's actual shirts. The lanes don't go anywhere in particular. They just go up and stop at somebody's front door, and you have to turn around. Some are barely wider than your shoulders. You keep apologizing to people, and they keep waving you through, unhurried, mildly amused. Come out at the top, and the whole thing is beneath you. Terracotta and stone spilling down to the water, and the islands lying out there flat and green in the haze. And it hits you what has been strange all morning. This place does not feel handed down. Every other city on this coast wears somebody else's clothes. Roman bones under Venetian polish. A Greek harbor with an Austrian promenade laid over it. Beautiful, all of it. And built for someone, by someone, from somewhere else. Šibenik is the one the Croatians built for themselves. No Greek colony, no Roman town underneath. It appears in the record in the 11th century in a document of a Croatian king, and it was theirs from the beginning. The only major city on this coast that started that way. Glad you're still here. Subscribe to GoBeyondia. And you can feel it even before you know it. Because a city built for an empire is built to impress the empire. It faces outward, it performs. Šibenik faces inward, up its own hill, along its own stairs, toward its own doors. It was made by people who were going to live in it. There is a cathedral down at the water, and it is extraordinary. Assembled entirely from interlocking blocks of stone, no brick, no wood, no timber roof, fitted together like a puzzle by a man who spent his life on it and died before it was done. It took more than a century. It is a masterpiece. And yet what stays with you from Šibenik is not the cathedral. It's the feeling on the stairs, that you were not a tourist in a monument. You were a guest in somebody's town and they let you climb it and nobody made anything of it at all. Split amazes you. Šibenik does something quieter and harder to shake. It makes you feel let in. Next, the last city, the one that suffered most on this coast, and answered with the most beautiful thing on it. We'll tell you its name when we get there. Subscribe to Beyondia. Zadar. Go to the end of the old town in the late afternoon and sit down on the marble steps that run into the sea. That's all. Sit down. The stone is warm through your clothes. There are children on the steps below you, a couple with their shoes off, an old man reading. The water comes in and slaps the marble and pulls back. Everyone is facing west into the light on the water, doing nothing at all. And then you hear it. It comes up through the stone underneath you. Low and then higher. A long, breathing chord, like something enormous inhaling somewhere beneath your feet. It swells, holds, and falls away. And another one comes, and it is never quite the same. You look around for the speaker. There is no speaker. The steps are hollow. Under the marble there are pipes tuned like an organ, and when a wave rolls in, it pushes air up through them, and the sea plays them. That's it. That's the whole machine. Every chord you hear is a wave that just arrived, and no two waves are the same. So the music has never repeated and it never will. The sun goes down. The chords keep coming. Beside you the pavement begins to glow, a great circle of light in the stone, drinking the sun all day and giving it back now. Slowly, in color. Nobody claps, nobody films it for long. People just sit there, in the dark, listening to the water make music. Glad you're still here. Subscribe to GoBeyondia. And here's what you are actually sitting on. Zadar has been broken and rebuilt again and again, sacked by crusaders who came for Jerusalem and stopped here instead, fought over for centuries by everyone who wanted the Adriatic. And in the Second World War, the bombs came again and again until most of it was gone. The old streets, the churches, the houses, hollowed out. They rebuilt it. And when they came, at last, to the raw, concrete edge where the old harbor had been destroyed, the ugliest place in the city, a scar nobody knew what to do with. They did not build a monument. They did not build a memorial wall. They built an instrument. They took the sea that had carried every fleet that ever came for them, and they let it play. I had every fact about Zadar before I came. None of them prepared me for sitting in the dark, on a scar, while it sang. 3 cities on the Croatian Adriatic coast. Each has its own story. In Split, a woman waters her plant on a Roman balcony and doesn't look down, and you understand that the extraordinary can become somebody's Tuesday. In Šibenik, you climb somebody's stairs, and nobody minds, and you feel, for an hour, like you live there. And in Zadar, you sit on the wound, and the wound makes music. That's what these cities do. They don't ask to be admired. Admiration is easy, and you forget it on the plane home. They let you in. They go on with their mourning around you. They hand you a cord out of the ground and don't explain it. You will see more beautiful coastlines than this one. You will not, I think, be so quietly changed by them. That's Croatia, Split, Šibenik, Zadar. And now you know why they get under your skin. If you stayed this long, you're family now. I'm Beyondia. Travel, learn, grow. You'll want to go now. Most people do. But there's more on GoBeyondia.com. Every town, every island, everything that's actually there. And I'll be there too, whenever you want to talk. Tell me what you're looking for, and we'll find the place that fits. I won't tell you where the best restaurants are. We'll talk about what you'll actually carry home. 120 countries. We're only just getting started. I'll see you at the next place. Subscribe to GoBeyondia.